What's up, guys? It's Kyle with another episode of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. Today, I'm with a good friend of mine, Bruno Pascali. And Bruno is somebody I've known for a little while, but the first time I actually met him in person, I was impressed right away. And it was just crazy how much Bruno is able to do in the course of a day. So, Bruno, first of all, thanks for being with me.
Oh, I'm glad to be here, Kyle. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, Bruno's got I'll let you tell everybody before we dive into the history, but tell everybody a little bit about all the different things that you have going on, the restaurants, the trucks, the acting.
Well, I started out many years ago in Newark. At 17, I opened my first pizzeria. A year later, I opened a second pizzeria. Then I decided I needed to know what the hell to do, so I decided to, enroll in culinary school. So I enjoyed going to culinary school for 2 years while I ran the pizzeria. And then after that, I got involved in opening restaurants. And I started one restaurant, went to a second restaurant, a third restaurant, and finally I ended up in Hackettstown at Marley's. That was back in 2009. And when I was at Marley's, I said I want to create a spot that's, a neighborhood bar and restaurant. And I said I want to be the first place in New Jersey to have over 101 different wing flavors. So I went on to doing that, and when my partner was counting the wings, she's like, "Oh, you went over by two flavors, you know." So I said, "I guess I got to keep going." So now I'm up to 320 wing flavors, and now I started scaling out, and we bought our first food truck during COVID. While we were remodeling the restaurant, it was a good time to do that. So I decided to bring the wings out on the road, So truck was very successful. So a year and a half after that truck, I decided to get another truck, and now it's called Marley's Craven Cuban. I'm going to bring a little Cuban flair out there, and so that truck is all ready to come up. It's just was built in Miami, and that'll be the next part of it. And now we just opened another spot in Belleville, which is a cloud kitchen. It's totally takeout and delivery. That's all on online platforms, so people can go to the kiosk, pick it up, or they can order it from DoorDash, Uber Eats, or from our own app. And beside doing all that, and once I was on the Food Network a few years ago, I got the bug of being on the Food Network, obviously, and I got this bug for acting. So I enrolled into an acting school, and I just finished my 30-week class, and I graduated, and I've done many shows, from Discovery ID. I just finished one with Paul Azan on the case. I played a perpetrator. I played a union boss with Paul Giamatti in Billions. I'm going to film tomorrow. We're doing another movie called End of Times. I'm actually playing Sleepy Joe Biden. I'll just be sleeping all day, and then I'm going to turn into a zombie, and then I'm going to eat my secret service guy. So it sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. Um, so I do all these roles on Discovery ID also, like I said, playing a policeman or, just a perpetrator. So,
Amazing. So
yeah.
let's go back to the pizzeria when you first opened that. When you opened it, was it just you, or did you have a partner? Did you what was it?
No, it was my father at that time. I was working in a restaurant, and he was going to open a pizzeria with me, but then he suddenly passed away. So I was 17. I was like, it's do or die now. I was like, what do I do? So I worked 12 hours a day. I saved a little bit more, and then an opportunity came up that I heard of. This gentleman was selling a pizzeria in Montclair. And the guy at the time was 27 years old. I was only 17 going on 18. So he had a heart problem, so he wanted to get out. So I went up to him and I said, listen, I know that you want to get out. I said, look, I got $1,500 saved up. And this is going back in 1986, 87. So I said, I got $1,500. I said, I want to buy the pizzeria from you and I'll make payments. So we agreed to it. He had the accountant that was right next door. The accountant drew up some papers, and I think my payments were like $262 a month for like 5 years. And I put the 15 on, and I was in business.
Okay.
And I just went in by myself.
Went in by yourself,
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a big learning curve, right? Maybe with just being in business in the hustle. How did you manage at that time to run the place? Like if you didn't have a lot of help and all that.
Well, the place was, right off the bat. I mean, I had a good pizza recipe, so it went really well, and I was making more money at that time than I was used to. I mean, I think back in 1987, we were making like $3,500 a week. So here I went out, and a couple months later, I bought this used Audi 5000S, and we're delivering pizzas and that, and it was great. I mean, the town was great. It was very diverse there, so a lot of the guys, came in and helped me out, and it was packed.
Right.
You know,
And then from there, you decided to open the first restaurant.
yeah. Then I opened another pizzeria in Newark, and then from there I opened with my brother. The first restaurant was up in Hackettstown. I mean, not Hackettstown, in Dover, New Jersey.
And what was that?
That was called the Laughing Lion.
Okay. What was the type of food there?
That was Italian. After 2 weeks after we opened there, we got a 4-star review from the New York Times on the Italian food, and then the place just took off, and from there we just went on, and then my brother left, and I ended up opening another place in Sparta called El Porto, and then from there I just kept opening places, concessions, pool concessions, all types of stuff.
And with those ones, what's up, girls? With those ones, you no longer have them.
No, those
So,
were just stepping stones.
Stepping stones. So when you moved on from them, did you sell them, or like what was the process?
Yeah,
to
most of
try-
them I sold. Some of them I just, like I opened up here in Mad Chef in Flemington back in 2012. And that was a place where I just did my lease. And then I also bought Shaker Cafe here in town, which that I bought that as an investment. I got that for a really good deal. So then a year later, I sold that for double what I paid for it. So I built it up, and then
How long did you have the Shaker Cafe for?
for a year,
A year.
yep,
Okay.
I got it for a song and a dance.
And then when you go on to Marley's, that was the next?
Yeah, then this I was doing that while I was at Marley's.
Okay.
So while I was at Marley's, I opened up Mad Chef and Shaker Cafe. So I was running all of them.
So that's really what fascinated me about you when I first met you over at our senior home. How were you managing your time to be able to do all this?
Having good trained people, So the main thing is that your flagship place, the way I always thought is I trained all the cooks how to do my wings. I trained them all to be prepared. So this way here, I knew that over time I can step away and then go walk into other places. So it's taking care of your employees, treating them well. And if you treat your employees well, pay them well, and respect them, they'll run your place for you while you can step away to train other people to do another place. If not, that's probably the biggest obstacle for many, many, business owners, even like yourself,
Sure.
is trying to find the good people that'll stick with you.
Definitely.
And that, to me, I've been lucky with, all the people that we don't have much turnaround. So,
Yeah, so I was going to
it's
ask, they've
great.
been with you a long time, a lot
Yeah.
of these people?
A lot of people have been there. I know some of my cooks have been with me 12, 13 years, So,
Wow.
so I know that I could step away and not have to worry about it.
Okay.
Once in a while you get something thrown in, but, whether they get sick or they just, they decide they want to go somewhere else and learn something new. But otherwise we have a good, solid staff.
Amazing. And so, if I could be wrong in my assumption, but many weeks it seems like you're going like 7 days a week doing
Well,
something.
especially spring and summertime, because now we throw in the food trucks. So the food trucks actually start up in March. So now they'll go all the way to December. And now, with that, we did last year like 70 events or more. And then throwing another food truck into the mix now you're probably looking to double that. You're doing events at Rutgers football, you're doing events at film festivals, you're doing them at jazz festivals, food truck festivals. So you're all over the state.
And now with the new food truck coming up here from Miami, do you have to? Are you going to utilize current staff to run that, or do you have to hire a whole new crew?
Well, that truck there would, obviously would go out on it because I would have to train them how to do this type of food. The other truck now, they've worked with me a year and a half, so now that crew already knows how to work that truck. So pretty much I don't have to worry about the wing truck. I just have to worry about teaching one or two people how to run the Cuban truck.
Gotcha. And then with all the events and the gigs that you get with the food trucks, how are you getting them? Like, what's the marketing process? Just word of mouth at this point?
Well, first of all, we have a big following with the wings, so that wasn't a problem. But there's a lot of food truck associations out there. There's one event, guy called Megabytes, and he just deals with food trucks. So he has several hundred events a year, and he has a whole pool of food trucks from New Jersey. So when somebody calls him up and said, "Look, I want to throw a food truck festival in Parsippany. It's going to be the PBA. I need 10 food trucks." So they call Howard up. Howard will send out what they, to all the food truck owners, and then we just say, "Okay, we'll go or we won't go, depending." And that's how you do it. There's a whole event guy that handles all that, and then there's a food truck association that you can be on, and they'll send you different festivals that you might want to join. And there's the food truck lady that does same as Howard. So it just, it's very easy.
Okay.
But there's a lot of paperwork involved because every time you do a festival, you got to apply for a food permit and a fire permit. So every town, I know right now they're trying to change that and say, look, let's just have the truck inspected once a year, just like a restaurant's inspected. Why do we have to have a health inspector inspected at every location?
Yeah.
They come to the restaurant once a year. Why, get your permit, you're good for a year.
Yeah, that seems silly.
So, yeah, they're trying to change that, but it's a way for them to make money, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, when the first network show that you're on, talk about that. How did that come about? What was that process? And then we'll dive into that road.
All right. So I got this email one day and from a casting agent, and it said that they were casting for Food Network Cooks versus Cons. So I applied. So I got a call, and I went down to Jersey City it was actually Hoboken on the border there at the Cake Bosses factory. So they had the whole studio there. So we walked in, it was a table just like this, and there was a couple of other contestants there, possible contestant. And we're just sitting there, we filled out some paperwork, and then they took us into another room, which is where they filmed the show. And they said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. Nobody knows anybody. They didn't know if I was a real chef or if they were a real chef or I was just, somebody that ran a gym and was a good cook. So that was why there was cons. So there's 4 contestants on each show. 2 are professional chefs, 2 are just cons. So we get in there. He said, "I'm going to give you a half hour. I'm going to give you a few minutes to look around at all the ingredients in the kitchen." And he says, "I need you to come up with a dish, and as you're cooking that dish, I'm going to throw a mystery ingredient into that, and you're going to have to incorporate it." So I said, "Okay." So there's 4 of us in that kitchen. And the clock goes, boom. I already saw on the count, I saw that there was some skirt steak there and some other stuff. So I'm like, that's what I'm going to work with, So I went in and the clock took off and I grabbed the skirt steak, started marinating it and, got that on a grill. Then I saw some corn. I started roasting some corn. Then like 5 minutes into it, he says, "We need you to incorporate cauliflower into it." So now I see the cauliflower. I'm like, okay, so I got to make something to make it part of this dish, So I go and I get the cauliflower. So it was an old thing that we did growing up, the Italians, but I just cooked the cauliflower. And as I did it, I made this nice puree. I drained it. Then I add some, pecorino romano to that, some butter, seasoned it up, and I made this beautiful puree. Meanwhile, the skirt steak has got a nice char on it, and I whip up this quick chimichurri sauce. So I take this puree, I wrap this nice volcano of steak around this puree with this nice corn salsa. And after the show was up, they took us all into another room, and then the producer called me and he says, will you be available to film if we choose you? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So then, like a couple days later, I get this email that says, "Congratulations, you've been accepted to compete on Cooks versus Cons." So now it was the real deal. That was just to see how I would react under pressure. But then the real deal was when I actually went in to compete. So then that day I went in, they didn't tell you what they were going to do. So I went in and I started making scallops that's my second dish. But the first round was pasta. Jeffrey Zakarian gets on and he says, "You're going to cook any pasta you want, but you got to incorporate corn into it." So I made a pappardelle pasta with this corn pancetta, pesto, and it was great. So it got me into the second round, and then one person got sent home. So now it's three of us. So then at the time when you get sent home, you have to reveal whether you were a cook or a chef. So the first guy that got sent home was a chef. So now I knew I was up against two amateurs, but one other chef. So the second round I did scallops. And while we're doing that, he says you have to incorporate candy into it. So he says, I don't care if it's candy corn, candy necklace, candy licorice. So I saw the candy necklaces because that's what I used to eat as a kid. So I took the scallops and I crushed up the candy necklaces. I made this gastrique sauce, caramelized the scallops. I put that gastrique sauce over it, laid it over a bed of orzo with asparagus and almonds, and then I took the licorice. I grated like cheese over it, and then I flambéed it, and that was the winning dish.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that was the $10,000 dish.
$10,000
Yep.
dish. And when they reached out to you initially, it was just random out of the blue that they.
Yeah, just I get, I'm on these casting outlets, so they'll send me castings. I get castings all day long for different shows and all that. So I just applied for another one last night. I got up at 4 a.m. I got a casting call for small business owners. So I was like, okay.
Wow. And
So-
where did the Cooks versus Cons? What did that lead to next as far as shows?
Well, then another show came up, Fire Masters, where you had a grill outside, whether it was on an open fire pit, on a griddle, on a fresh grill out there. So they flew me up to Canada, and 6 o'clock in the morning, the show started, and that was out in this big abandoned warehouse. They had a whole set up, and the show's still on today, and we just had to cook and try to add smoke or whatever to the dish, and try to win. That was a tough show. Very tough show.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds even with those first two shows, your repertoire, you have a wide range of dishes that you could cook. Was that just experience throughout the years, or?
No, well, growing up in an Italian family, everything was made fresh as we grew up. Growing up in Newark, my family, I remember, in the backyard, my father, his brothers, my aunt, everybody, they're crushing tomatoes. They got big barrels with flames under it, making marinara sauce, bottling it up in mason jars, making their own wine. I remember one time I came home from school. I must have been like 7 or 8 years old, and I hear this pig running around in my basement. So I thought it was a pet, So I played one for. Next day I came home, it was on the table as a dish. So I was like, But anyway, so everything. My father was a big hunter, so we ate pheasant as a kid. My mother, there was, I don't know if you ever had it, but it's calf's brains,
I never had that.
Oh, it's very tender. Back in the day, they'd sell it off the truck in Newark. This guy come by and he'd, that drip, the tripe and all that. So me and my brother, we gained a lot of, experience eating foods that most people, like kids today, wouldn't even know what calf's brains is or tripe, So the palate was there. And then we both went to culinary school. So between me and my brother for years, we worked together on and off. And we just created, we learned as much as possible, whether it's, Brazilian food, Italian food, Cuban food. So it's, like a fusion.
Yeah. And what's your brother doing now?
My brother's actually running. Remember, I mentioned he runs a big care facility. He's the director.
Oh, that's
of that.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And
So
where's that again?
That's in Chatham at Juniper Village.
Chatham.
Yeah.
Juniper Village. Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
So he's, he started there as a chef, and then he became the executive director.
Wow, that's crazy.
So,
Rose up
so
the
he's
ranks.
just taking it easy.
Yeah. Cool,
Me,
man.
I just keep going.
You just keep going. So, and then you went up to Canada for the second show. Then where did that lead to?
Well, then that in between all that, it led to News 4 Live coming to the restaurant. It's different. I just got nominated #1 in the state for wings. I also got nominated for the most Google clicks on wings.
How many was that again? I saw that. Like how many?
320, but that was 500 million.
500
Yeah,
million.
there was only 12 places out of the whole state and over 500 million clicks. And then right after that, we won best out of New Jersey. We came in at a 4.95. Everybody else fell below me, so we were #1 in the state.
#1 in the state.
Yeah. So this year I got #1 in the state. top 50 with Pete Genovese from NJ.com. Then I got the Google one. Then I got best, top of in the state for wings, at a different outlet. So it's, every year.
What's your favorite wing at your place?
Probably the Bang Bang.
What is that?
It's a mayonnaise sweet sriracha chili sauce that I make, and it's banging. It's bang bang, you know.
Now, man, yeah, you're such a hustler, man. It's awesome. Now, with the shows, when did the first, not movie, but that type of opportunity come up? Like, I know you're on Billions.
Yeah, well, the first show 2016, the second one 2019, and then all in between I've been doing Discovery ID, Evil Lives Here, Dead of Winter, Shattered. I just finished the Black Card. I did The Haunting on the River.
And do you have an agent?
Yeah, I do.
Is he finding you? Or?
Yeah, they find some that just get sent to me from other agents, but I belong to several agencies, like Grant Wilfrey, Comer Casting, all those.
Okay.
J&S Casting, and they'll send me all the casting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they see fit,
That's really neat, man. How was Giamatti? Was he nice?
Giamatti was great.
Yeah, I like him.
He's a great actor, and he when he's on set, when he's not on set, let's say he's off, eating at the counter or he's grabbing some snacks, he's always in character, Like I've seen him, like the one I was on, I don't know if you watch Billions at all, but there was one one scene where they put a band, because he was like some sadist masochist.
Yeah.
But he had like that elastic band around his leg. So I could see him practicing, and rehearsing, and he would just, sit there pulling on a band or whatever, practicing for that part.
Is that right?
Or, they'll stand in a corner talking to themselves, the lines on and on and on, So they're a very, very nice guy.
Wow. What's been your most memorable movie or show that you've been on for you?
Well, I've met a lot of great people. Like the one cool dude that I liked was Christian Slater when we did Mr. Robot. He was great. I talked to him just like we did, and he was messing up on his lines a couple of times. And I said, Christian, let's just leave here and let's go back to True Romance. And he goes, oh, that was the good old days, But he was really down to earth.
Christian Slater, yeah.
Yeah, Christian Slater.
Yeah, I like a lot of his movies.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to work with, and so many. Even T. Leone doing Madam Secretary. I did a spot in there. She was nice too. They're all nice.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Now, talk about what you just did in September when you were out in Kansas. What was that experience like?
All right, so this thing, Wes Bergman, he casting call came through on the phone. It says, you an entrepreneur. Would you like to be an entrepreneur? He's great at funneling you right into the bottle cap. It's kind of like he throws out this one sentence and all of a sudden it gets you. So it says apply for it. So I did, and then I got another email that says, oh, you made the second round. So do some other stuff. I need you to do a video of yourself explaining what you do. So I did that, and then I got the call. It said, listen, you got chosen, to come out to Kansas City and compete on this great entrepreneur show, which is a boot camp for entrepreneurs. So they're looking for people that have a great idea to start up, or somebody that's been in the business years and is already successful in what they're doing. So they teach you a lot of the marketing and social media stuff. Then, one day it might be on how to run your business this way and how to scale it out more. And it's kind of like Shark Tank meets, a boot camp of entrepreneurs. But he got some of the greatest people. Out of 60,000 people, there's only 60 of us from around the country that met up and lived together for a week. So it was kind of, I met a lot of good people, and a lot of people out there doing a lot of great things. And that's probably the best experience that I got, was meeting all these people. And that's going to air soon. And I was just invited to come back to another show, but in Tulsa, Oklahoma in June. But I'm so busy with everything else, I'm not going to be able to do that show.
Not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, so I told him maybe next season I'll come on again.
Okay.
So.
Now, these 60 people with the living arrangements, were you guys, like, what was it?
Well, the first time he started the show, he rented out a mansion where everybody lived in this mansion.
Everybody fit.
Yeah, all 60. Well, the first time he did it, I think it was only 20. The show grew so much that he brought it up to 60 people. So now he films in Kansas City at a place called The Grid. Um, and so it's a rented space that he uses there. And then there's a hotel next door, so everybody has their own room.
Okay.
So that's how he did it. But now he's doing this where he's renting this spot in Tulsa, Oklahoma in June, which is going to be a big, it's like in this casino hotel. So, stage theater where they do all big shows. So that's where it's going to be filmed.
The same show, though.
Same show, but in a different venue.
And when you were on that show, you learned a lot from these other people?
Yeah, I learned a lot, but there was a lot that I already knew.
Sure.
Like a lot of things that we talked about on social media, I was already doing,
Yeah.
But it was great to meet him and meet all that energy. There was a lot of energy
A
there.
lot of good energy.
A lot of good energy. A lot of people doing a lot of things that, that are going to be successful someday.
Yeah.
Whether it's software, these guys are just great people. It's like a whole tight knit of people that you're friends with now.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
So
Now, with the social media stuff and the marketing with that, are you doing that all yourself? Or you have somebody that does that for you?
well, I have a guy that does all my websites, sends out blasts every day, different things, wing specials. Now I created a new concept that I'm doing down in Belleville. It's called Eat My Bowls,
Yeah.
and it's all healthy bowls, which you should really look into
Yeah,
because
I know
I
what
just
you're
hooked
talking
up
about,
with Signature Fitness down there.
Yeah.
And they tried all my bowls yesterday, so she already bought 30 of them. She wants me to start selling them inside the
Yeah,
gym.
we definitely got to chat about
But
that.
so I came up with this thing. I said, let me, I got to do something healthy. So I said, let me do Eat My Bowls. So I created a couple of wraps, healthy wraps in 6 different bowls: a cilantro lime bowl, a jerk salmon with mango salsa bowl, carne asada bowl, the roasted taco cauliflower bowl. So, and it's all comes either with brown rice or cilantro rice, black beans, and then all the healthy stuff with it, and nicely packaged. So, I'm working on that beside the wings down there. So figured I'd launch another product.
No, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah,
Maury was telling
they're
me.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made them at home, and
I know, we were supposed to be
tore
there.
them down.
I get it.
Teriyaki chicken's good.
It's good. And you
Yeah.
do it in a bowl and a wrap?
Yeah, well, I do a falafel wrap, and then
Okay.
I also do a burrito wrap. But in the bowl, it's usually rice, brown rice or cilantro rice, black beans, pico de gallo, the protein, and then topped with some fresh broccoli or peppers and that kind of stuff. It's really nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, talk about with your daily schedule. Like, what time are you typically getting? You're doing so much. Like, what time are you typically getting up? What time do you typically go to sleep? Is that consistent?
Well, yeah, I mean it's pretty consistent, especially with the little ones. But I go to sleep, anywhere from, me, I'm 12 o'clock at
Okay.
night, and I'm up at 6 every day.
Okay.
So people that sleep aren't successful people.
No,
What I
that's a great
understand
point.
over the
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
there's no time for it.
Yeah.
You just you got to get up and go because if you sleep, there's only 24 hours in the day. If you sleep half of it away, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. And do you I agree 1,000%? Are you do you have like a normal morning routine that you follow, or you just kind of?
I get up, get the girls on a bus, and then I just get my coffee, and then I start heading out. Whether I go to Belleville or I go to Hackettstown or I got to go get the truck, either one.
Okay.
There's no set schedule. My schedule's so sporadic that it doesn't matter. I just go wherever I need to be that day.
And I think just from knowing you, you love what you do, and I think that's probably fuels your energy right throughout the day.
Well, I love, food is the way to people's hearts. So,
Yeah.
like I just love when I make something and somebody loves it so much that, they keep coming back and back. And, when I do a video or whatever, something I made, like, I don't know if you saw that one video I did with the pizza.
I didn't see that one.
Well, I did this, this guy came in to review me. So,
Where was he from?
He's just a big Instagram and,
Okay.
social media. He's got thousands of followers. So he reviews restaurants. So he came in and he tried my wings, and I got a 9.5 out of 10 from him. So that I got over 20,000 followers from that.
Wow.
So I ended up making this pizza. Now you've had buffalo chicken pizza
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
but how do they make it? They just throw some chicken on it. So I wanted to be a little different. So I made two types of pizza. I made a buffalo pizza, but instead of putting chicken on there the way they do in these little pizzerias, I took a whole dozen wings, whether you want bone in or bone out, and I plop it right on there. So when you get the pizza at the table, you're getting a dozen wings of buffalo wings on your pizza, plus you're getting a buffalo pizza. So it's gigantic. So for him, I made him a garlic parm pizza, which I, spread some like garlic cream cheese on it and mozzarella. I made a nice, and then I took all the boneless wings that were garlic parm wings and I threw that right on top of the pizza. So when you're eating it, you got this huge pizza with wings and pizza at the same time.
It's making me hungry.
Yeah. So, things like that is what I do on social media, and, and people just tune in and they watch and they love it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah. I remember too. What I think was funny, I put that video up of the butter and banana sandwich.
Yep.
And you knew it. You had that.
Oh, I eat it all the
all
time.
the time.
You
It's
know,
the best.
I used to do paninis, banana Nutella paninis, banana peanut butter paninis.
At the restaurant?
Oh yeah,
Nice,
we used to, on a bread, really thin on ciabatta bread. So I would do, strawberry banana Nutella is really good. Peanut butter with strawberries and banana, everything. You just put it on the bread, toast it real crispy, and it's great.
What's your favorite dessert, like sweet that you guys make?
Well, at the restaurant, probably the best one is the Marley's favorite. That's the funnel fries with a chocolate Godiva brownie with chocolate ice cream, strawberry, caramel, and chocolate sauce with whipped cream and cherries. So you got, a little bit of everything.
We're gonna have to go shoot film over at his.
Yeah.
I'm a huge food guy, and I have
Yeah.
a tremendous appetite. But
Well, it's big.
as you said,
Everybody comes.
Yeah.
A lot of people started online and they just go to restaurants and they review them, and it's great.
But it sounds like what you've done. And I know from having your food in the past, it's like you have all these great things. Like a lot of places you go, and it's like, yeah, it's okay. But your stuff is actually really good, and you have such a wide variety of it.
Well, that's what I wanted. I wanted the ultimate, that comfort food. Like,
Yes.
If I make pizza, I try to make the best pizza. And I get more rave reviews on my pizza, like the wings, that most pizzerias don't even get. So, if you're going to do something, just do it right. There's no half-ass. You either do it right, because if you do it half-ass, you'll never know if it was right or wrong,
Yeah.
So might as well do it right, and then if it takes off, it was right. If you did it
Yes.
half, I'll never know,
Yeah.
so.
And do you guys do burgers there too?
Oh, yeah, I got 25 burgers on.
What's your favorite burger you make?
The mac and cheese burger?
Is mac and cheese on top? Or?
Yeah, it's a mac and cheese ball with more cheese and bacon on top of a burger, and then probably the other one I would really like is the triple bypass.
Oh, nice.
That's a burger, Taylor ham, Canadian bacon, a fried egg, everything's on that.
Delicious.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, what would you say, Bruno? A couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
Like as far as succeeding in life and success, you've had such a great journey so far. People that listen to this, maybe they're younger or whatever, but what would be like one tip as far as being successful that you could give people?
Well, what I always tell people is never give up on your dream. If you can dream it, you can do it. So, if you come up with an idea tomorrow and you say, look, I want to start a food truck, go ahead and start it, because it's your dream, and dreams come true. And the only way to make them come true is to follow through with it,
True.
And that's what I do. I tell everybody that, even my students, when I teach them at the culinary school, you can do anything you put your mind to it, and
Just stick with it.
That's stick with it. Never, never look back. Just
Yeah.
keep going. As many times as you fall down, just get up and keep going.
Yeah.
Something don't work, you back to the drawing board, but just don't quit.
And I'm sure you've had throughout the years probably many obstacles.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh yeah, you win some, you lose some.
You just keep
But that's how
going.
you learn. You learn from, what did I do wrong? Why did I lose?
That's it.
And then on the next place, you make that better.
Yeah.
That's
what my professor at jiu-jitsu always says.
Yeah.
You only lost if you don't know why you lost.
Exactly.
So that,
Yeah, you just got to keep going,
Figure it
because
out.
I learned from losing sometimes.
And how do you keep your mindset positive You know, when you have these setbacks.
Stay away from negative people.
Yeah, yeah,
Basically, I always was taught that if you want to be good at what you do, hang out with the best people that do it, So if you want to be a great chef, then work with some of the greatest chefs. If you want to be just a shoemaker, like I call them, then just go hang out with the shoemaker. So, but it's basically just, just surround yourself with good people, like you do.
yeah. It's the name of the game.
I don't want to be, they say if you hang out with people that are doing nothing, you're not going to do nothing. You hang out with people that are successful, you'll be just as successful as they are.
Yeah,
because you learn those habits.
Yeah, you can't help it. Otherwise, they'll kick you out.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to be anything around you if you're not level.
Exactly. If you're not you're holding up to your end of it. So.
Yeah. And now, last one for you. Like you get all the stuff you got going on. If you thought out like 5 years, what do you see going on in your life at that point?
Well, my thing is always with the restaurant. I like to have Marley's in every state. That's my vision. It's always been. That's why I decided. Look, if I can't open a brick and mortar in each state, let's take it out on the road. But in 5 years, I like to see that grow and scale out even more. Whether it be with food trucks or a couple other locations, and hopefully maybe just 5 years after that, I don't have to really be out there doing it anymore. Just having good people doing it and giving them a piece of the action, and I could just sit back and collect.
Sit back, collect, maybe with some more acting.
Yeah, exactly.
All that stuff. Cool, man.
That's what I love to do.
So tell people, and I could talk to you all day about this because there's so much to learn from you as far as the success you've had, and you're so calm about it too. Though you're not like neurotic, or you're not, it's awesome. And I love that, the energy you bring to your daily.
Yeah, a lot of times in the kitchen, they think chefs are all, if the chef loses his cool, so does your employee. So you always got to, I've always learned, no matter how much under pressure you are, just don't lose your cool, because you're the main guy in the leader. If you lose it, everybody else is going to lose it.
Yeah.
So I just stay calm, and I know that I'm going to get through it.
Yeah.
No matter how many people are at the door waiting.
The mental game, yeah.
Yep.
Master the mental game. Where can people, what's the best place for people to follow you, once they listen to this or they see it wherever we're putting it?
Well, you can come to Marley's up in Hackettstown. That's 169 Main Street. You can look us up online at marleysgotthemgrill.net and follow us where we go with the food trucks, where, what we're doing at the restaurant, our specials,
And how about social media? What's the best place?
Social media, I'm all over it. Just Google it, Mad Chef 1964 on Facebook, Instagram. Just look it up.
Mad
TikTok.
Chef 1964.
Yeah, Mad Chef 1964. And then just, my name on Facebook, and TikTok is Cooking with the Mad.
Cooking with the Mad.
Yeah, at Cooking with the Mad. So.
Nice. Yeah, this is great, man. And then, guys, you can definitely leave us a review for the show. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's the Panda Man Official, and on Facebook, it's just my name, Kyle Newell. Thank you for tuning in. Bruno, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, this was awesome, man. I'm glad we made it happen.
Yep.
All right, guys, we'll catch you later.
Thank you.